Hey everyone, it's the first video of the new year. This is another time-lapse drawing video with a voiceover. I haven't been able to make part 2 of the My Sartorial Evolution series, mostly because I've been busy working on 2 different comics and also because I didn't really feel like doing it. To be honest, I started like 2 other recordings for paintings, but I couldn't get myself to finish the paintings and edit the videos. I lost interest in one, and the other one was taking too long. So I thought, I need to work on these comics anyway, so I'm going to show some process with that and get a video out of it. So this particular comic that you see here is for my project called the Seer. And I won't get into the story here, but if I make another process video in the future for the Seer, I'll probably talk a bit about it then. But right now, let me tell you a little bit about my drawing process. So usually when I make the art for comic pages, I start with thumbnails that are somewhere between 2 inches wide to 3.5 inches high to about 3.25 inches wide and 5 inches high. On normal letter-sized paper, I measure and draw out a few rectangles, one for each comic page. And by the way, each of these papers are hole punched and collected into a thin binder. I like to organize a different comic project in its own binder so that the pages can be spread out and turned like an actual book. If you were to work on comic thumbnails for a project, their scaled down size would depend on whatever the book's final printed size would be. After thumbnails, it would be ideal to do a full-sized revision drawing of each thumbnail per piece of paper. But in this case, I'm on a tight schedule, so I scanned the thumbnails in at least 300 dpi, and I started tightening the sketches digitally. And once again, I use Clip Studio Paint X, which is really good for comics. And I don't have time to do really quick, clean, precise pencils like other people do, and especially not on paper. It's so much easier and efficient to revise the drawings digitally, so why not get them in the computer earlier? And even when I ink later, I'll probably stop sometimes and redo sketches if something needs to be improved. I think it helps that I want to go for a more textured, loose, stylized feel for this comic anyway, and in general actually. I want my style to be more like that. But yeah, I just want to get things going. I think I stated this in a previous video, but when I started drawing comics seriously, I found myself improving quickly, especially with things I had no interest in drawing in the first place. If it's a strong part of the story or vision, you're just gonna have to do it. So unfortunately for me, there's a pirate ship in several panels of this comic. And I've never drawn a pirate ship before, and I'm a little overwhelmed at the thought of it, because from seeing them in movies, I know that they're massive and detailed. You shouldn't half-ass a pirate ship, or even part of one like I'm about to do with my pencils, because the general structure and layout of a ship has purpose, right? I said that as if I wasn't sure. So yeah, this is where reference pictures come in. When I start inking these pencils for real, I'm going to have to gather better pictures of pirate ships at all different kinds of angles. And yes, I did make some crude pencil strokes on this ship drawing, because right now I just want to get some general shapes down. But once I have a solid drawing down, I'm really looking forward to making this ship environment look cold, haunted, dank, and rotting. The important thing about pencil sketches, though, is that the loose gestury strokes, like I'm about to try and do here, it helps keep the human figures look like they're naturally posed, naturally in movement, and not stiff. This part reminds me of in Howl's Moving Castle when Sophie is walking through the air with Howl because of this billowing skirt. A few weeks ago, I actually put on Howl's Moving Castle like at least 3 or 4 times. It's such a comfort movie for me, and it makes a great ambiance, even when it's on in the background and I'm focusing on my own artwork. I'd like to know what film or music you like to turn on while you work. Studio Ghibli movies in general are really good for that, but it would have to be a movie that I haven't seen, or I've seen a lot of recently, or otherwise I'd want to focus on the actual movie and look at all the beautiful art. Oh man, I don't even know what I've done with this ship here. Like I said, I need to find better reference pictures. And now that I'm seeing this video again, I'm realizing a bunch of stuff I need to add before I forget, like where to put the shadow of this girl on the deck, because I don't think I did that. I'm looking forward to embellishing the backgrounds that seem simple at first glance. I'm going to be rendering a lot of damp wood in these panels, which I've done a fair amount of for my other comic called Eel. But yeah, wood backgrounds are great because not only do they have texture and grain patterns, but in a messed up atmosphere like this one, they can be warped or shredded or growing some bright, colorful fungi. And these last two panels, especially the last panel, may look like nothing now, but when I ink, the details will really make it rich, hopefully. The cool thing about making fantastical stories is that drawings don't have to look perfectly realistic. Like, the perspective here is probably off, but in the end, if the mistakes aren't glaringly obvious, or if it's obvious it's done on purpose, it's all good. Especially since people's eyes usually fly across the page, barely spending any time on a normal panel like this. I don't remember the exact percentage, but I've heard that comic artists are encouraged to put around maybe 60 to 70% of their effort into each panel, but never 100%, or else you'll spend forever working on the comic and it won't come out. I'm gonna have to make this cabin look more interesting somehow. What can I do? I can put some splintered wet wood on the door, rust and grime on the metal doorknob, and even for the doorknob, like, it doesn't have to be a normal, rounded doorknob, especially because those look more modern. I want this to look more old and antique, so I'll probably design a doorknob which will be twisting and look really strange and maybe an elaborate design. Because if you're going to draw a door from an imaginary place, why wouldn't you make it a special one? While I was working on these last 3 panels, my cat came in and started staring at me. Ugh. She wanted to jump onto my work table, and I don't like her getting her cute little dirty little paws all over my work surface and on my electronics. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I don't think anyone was actually waiting for a video from me, but if you were, I apologize for the delay. I hope everyone's having an alright new year so far, and till next time, bye bye.